Hi everyone, this is Nirisha, working as assistant professor in the department of CSIT. So today we are going to discuss about structure of C program. So this is the structure of the C program. We have some 6 sections in this structure. To write a C program, we have some 6 sections. So the first one is a documentation section, second one is a link section, next one is a definition section, global declaration section, main function, and also the subprogram sections. These are the main 6 sections that we are used to write a C program. So in this, the mandatory sections are link section and the main section. So coming to the documentation section, it contains some set of instructions, a set of comments, including the name of the program other than the necessary details. So here, comments are ignored by the compiler and are used to provide a documentation to the people who reads that code. So if you have any unwanted things other than the code, other than the set of instructions, if you have any unwanted things, you can write in the form of a comments. So these comments are given by 2 ways. So one is by using single line comment and the other one is the multi-line comment. So coming to the single line comment, to write a single line comment, we are using the 2 slashes. And to write the multi-line comment, we are starting with the slash star and we are ending with the star and slash for a multiple line comments. For suppose if you want to tell like what kind of code you are reading, so the name of the code, so that kinds of things can be eliminated by using this commands. Coming to the link section. A link section consists of the header files. A link section consists of the header files, while contains the function prototype of standard library functions which can be used in the program. Header files also contains some macro declarations. So the header file, example of an header file is #include stdio.h. #include is a preprocessor command and stdio.h is a standard input and output header file. So this input and output functions, whatever we are using in our program, that are defined in stdio.h header file. Simply we are telling it's a standard input and output header file. Some of the input and output functions like scanf function. Some of the input functions are scanf functions, getS function, getChar function. All these functions are defined in this stdio.h header files. And some of the writing functions are like printf function, putChar function, and puts functions. So these are some of the reading functions and these are some of the writing functions. So these definitions, all these reading and writing definitions are defined in stdio.h header file. And #include is a preprocessor command. It is a command that we are telling the compiler to place all those definitions, all those function definitions in our code. And there are 2 types of files to include in our program. One is the standard header file, other one is the user-defined header file. So till now what we have discussed is a standard header file, and also we have many more header files like #include math.h, #include string.h. This is used for math.h is used for mathematical functions, and string.h is used for string related functions. So all those related functions, whatever the functions we are using, those function definitions are defined in this header files. And coming to the user-defined header files, all the user-defined header files must be placed in between a double quotes. So this is one of the example. #include program1.c. Program1.c is nothing but some of the function definition that we have defined and placed in this file, program1.c. It is a C text file. It is a C file. So whatever the function, whatever the code we have developed, that particular code we can use in our existing program by using this #define program1.h. The next one is the definition section. Definition section is an optional. Definition section defines all the symbolic constants. A symbolic constant is a constant value given to a name which can't be changed in the program. Example, Hash define pi 3.14 and hash define x 100. So whatever the value we have given for this pi value, so that will be never changed throughout the program ends, and whatever the value we are using as an x, so x value is 100 and that value also will not be changed throughout our program ends. See, hash define is a preprocessor command. It is used to define a constant value. In the above code, the pi is a constant, whole value is 3.14. It is hash define is also a preprocessor command. It's nothing but we are fixing a value. We are fixing a value as a constant and we are not changing those values. Global declaration. The global declaration section is also an option. In global declaration section, global variables can be declared. These global variables can be used in both main and user defined functions. For suppose if you want to use a variable and that variable, if you want to use it in all the multiple blocks that you are using in your code. So at that time, that variable you need to declare globally so that that particular variable can be used in any of the blocks in your program. So by default, all global variables are initialized to null. The value of global variables are 0. So this is a declaration of a global variable int a comma b comma c, and this is a command. Global variable is a command, that single line command that we are giving it by using double slash. Void main is a function, and here we are using int abc. It's an instance variable. We are also calling it as local variables. So this, we have already declared the ABC variables here. So these variables we can directly use in our user defined functions, or else if you have any other blocks like any other sum definition, and if you want that ABC in this, if you want to use that ABC variables in this block also, you can use that because we have declared it globally. And coming to the local variables, so the scope of the local variables only will be within this block. So out of this block, we cannot use this some variables. What we have declared locally variables. Coming to the global variables, can be used in any of the blocks. Main function section. The main function section is the most important section in any of the C program. The compiler start executing C program from the main function. And the main function is a mandatory in the C program. The compiler starts executing from the main function. So it is a mandatory and must and should function that we need to write a C program. It has two parts. One is the declaration part and another one is the executable part. All the variables that are used in the executable part are declared in this part. What are the variables that we are using, that we need to declare in first. Then only we can write an executable part. So this part, executable part, contains the statements that are to be executed by the compiler. It is nothing but the what kind of logic we are using to solve that particular task. The subprogram section. The subprogram section consists of all user-defined functions. A complete and fully functions C program can be written without use of a user definition function in the C program, but the code may be redundant and inefficient if user-defined functions are not used for a complex problems. So it's a program section is nothing but we are dealing with some kind of functions, user-defined functions. So to solve that particular task, we are writing a function, and that function can be used multiple times. Many times we can call this function, and if whenever you want that function, we can call it and we can use that code whatever we have written in that function. So the function declaration is int add int a comma b, and the next, this is the definition of that add function. What we are doing, we are adding those two numbers. The inputs are a and b. So this will consider as local variables. And by using this a plus b, we are adding those two numbers, and by using that return keyword, which function call that value will be returned to that particular function. So this is about subprogram section, and this is also an optional. When you are using it, when you have some complex, when you have some complex programs at that time to get the results in an efficient way, we are using the subprogram sections. So this is the first C program. The commands are ignored by the compiler. This is a documentation section. The commands, it is nothing but a comment that we are telling this program prints hello world to the screen. Whoever read the code, they should understand. They will understand by seeing this code that this program is to tell that we are printing that hello world on the screen. And hash include stdio.h is an header file. We are also calling it as a preprocessor directive. This complete thing we are calling it as hash include stdio.h. We are calling it as a preprocessor directive. And stdio.h is an header file containing input and output function declarations. The input and output functions, whatever we are using, those definitions are contained in this header file. And int main is the main function. So the task is just to print the hello world. So by using a printf statement, we can print that hello world. So no need of any global declaration sections and no need of any definition sections for this first C program. So because we are not using any values, so no need of any variables and also any constant values. So end main. Each C program must have a main function because the compiler starts reading from the main function. This is the main important point that we need to keep in mind. And by using this printf statement, we are printing the hello world. And return 0, it is used to give that we are giving the no errors to the operating system. So it prints hello world and slash and advances the cursor to a new line. Each statements end with a semicolon. Each statement end with a semicolon. So printf is a function. It is a writing function that is used to print the text or the value that what we are giving. So our task is to print the hello world. So by using this printf function, we are writing this hello world inside the double inverted quotes so that hello world will be printed. So this is the C program, an example program to find sum of two numbers. So for this, the header file is hash include stdio.h. We have already discussed about this. The input and output functions, whatever we are using. So the input function is the scanf statement and output function is the printf statement. So by these two functions we are using in our program. So these two functions definitions are written in this stdio.h header files. So by using this hash include preprocessor command, we are asking whatever the input and output functions that are there in this header file, we are asking to include in our program. So int ABC. Int ABC is an variables. A, B and C are the variables. Integer is the data type. And at the end we are placing a semicolon. As a result of, we are placing a semicolon to tell that the statement got an end. And we are coming to, and the compiler will read to the next statement, that is printf. By using printf statement, we are asking to enter any two numbers. And the next, by using a scanf statement, we are reading those numbers and storing in its respective address locations. So percentile D and percentile D are the format specifiers that we are used to read an integer value. And the next, we are storing whatever the value we have read, that we are storing in the address of A and address of B. And the next step is C is equals to A plus B. Whatever the value we have read by using a scanf statements, A and B values that we are taking and we are adding by using a plus symbol, and that value we are assigning to the C variable. And by using the printf statement, we are writing sum is equals to percentile D, because we are printing an integer value. So that is the reason we are using the control string as percentile D. And this is the test cases. See, in the printf statement, we have given to enter any two numbers. So enter any two numbers will be displayed on the output screen. And the next, the numbers that we have read is that we have given is 5 and 2. So that numbers, whatever these numbers we have given, that numbers will be read by using this scanf statement. So we are reading two integer numbers. That is the reason why we are using percentile D and percentile D. If we are reading float numbers, at that time we are using percentile F. And where we are storing in the address of A and address of B. And by using the printf statement, this is the logic that to add the two numbers. And the next, by using printf statement, we are printing that C value. So now the sum is equals to 7 will be printed on the output screen. So variables are used to store the values, and data types are what type of data we are using. And you can find all the semicolons at the end of the statement. It is used for terminating of that particular statement. And if the semicolon was placed so that the statement will be terminated, and the next the compiler will come and read the next statement. So that is the reason why we are using the semicolon. And this today's summary classes, we have gone through about structure of C program and also a sample C program. Coming to the structure of C program, we have seen some 6 sections: document section, length section, definition section, global declaration section, main section, and a subprogram section, and also a sample C program. Thank you.